Hey everybody, it's Nick here from Crimson Medici, and I've got another song for you. So this one is called Just One Day, and Just One Day was written by Wendy after having a smashing day out with her grandson. And it was just her and her grandson Jensen, and off they went down to the seaside in Folkestone and had a splendid day. And from that, she was kind of inspired to write some lyrics along the lines of just having a lovely day out with her grandson. And that spawned then this song, Just One Day. So often when we write, ideas will just come out of nowhere. And we had some ideas about how I would go about sort of recreating what she had in her mind about it, but fun enough, none of those things turned out as we thought they would, and its song turned into something entirely different. So typically when we write, you kind of just turn up with a blank piece of paper and you're thinking, well, how can we make this work? And so when we first started writing it, I was writing with a line of using my favorite instrument, which is certainly for writing, which is sort of using sort of stage piano. So if I just go to here and just show you what that looks like. So as I've sort of explained in other videos, I tend to use sort of electric pianos just to give me an idea of how. So it's a nice clean sound. One of Wendy's favourite keys to write in is G. It really suits her voice, and so we tend to sort of stay around that key of G and not deviate too much. I mean, obviously songs kind of write themselves in whatever key they write themselves in, but from a songwriting point of view, we know that Wendy's range, and from very low notes to very high notes, the key of G and the keys associated to G, or the chords associated to G, would work very well with her range. So we typically would start, but certainly with a blank piece of paper, we'd start with a blank key, and it would be the G. So I was noodling, as I do, trying to come up with what would work, and it really wasn't working for us. We just could not get an idea together that would work. This, although this piano is in the track, it wasn't exactly how we wrote it. I was kind of messing around in G, and when he was trying to sing, and the lyrics and the melody just weren't starting to gel together. Really quite frustrating. So when he left the room, and I'm kind of crying into the piano, thinking, oh, how can we make this work? And so I thought, well, I know, I'm going to try something different. And so I have these absolute amazing guitars, what they call virtualized instruments. And guitarists, look away now if you're squeamish, because you're going to see a keyboard player play the guitar using keyboards. It's just mind-blowing what technology can do these days. And you're absolutely right, guitar players, I will never be able to replicate what you guys do well, but I can have a damn good go. I'm trying to play guitar, as in I've got a guitar, so is Wendy. We're both sort of trying to use the instruments that we've actually got in the studio. But sometimes you've just got to sort of use what I can do. I've been playing the piano for 40 years, and so you know, my fingers are better to adapt to learning to play an instrument like guitar using my keyboard, because my brain just works better when things are laid out this way rather than the alien landscape of a fretboard of a guitar. It just messes my head up. So here's a Telecaster sound, and as you can hear, it's pretty. And the beauty of this particular virtual instrument is that it's been designed in a way that it won't allow keyboard players to play ridiculous things like a guitarist could do it. So, you know, if I'm going to play sort of these two opposing notes, can you imagine how a guitar player would play just those two notes? So that's the bass G and a top G. I mean, look at the two dots on the keyboard on the fretboard there. I mean, can you imagine how big the hand would be in order to do that? So it tries to prevent you from playing extremes of those sorts of things. Anyway, so I was sort of noodling this idea out, and because of the sound of the Telecaster, there's no distortion on this. It's just got a lovely sound to it. So I'll try again in G, and I just came up with this idea. That was it. That was the idea. So being all excited, I'm saying to Wendy, Wendy, come back in the room, and try this. And so we had this. So that's how this track wrote itself. So Wendy had this idea of the lyrics and this sort of perfect day, and we started actually with the chorus. So not by any other means, just that because of the frustration of writing the song, and songwriting can be hugely frustrating, you can't get it right. But in this particular instance, this gelled, and suddenly this little riff started the chorus off, and that fitted the way the melody worked, it fitted the words, everything about that felt right. So we started the chorus, and then I went back into, well, what would the verse feel like? And because I've got all these instruments and I've got the ability to produce these songs quite quickly, it then meant that I could look at how could I arrange this track so it fits and works verse to chorus. And as the track started to develop, it started to get a bit of a feel, and you'll probably recognize the feel of this track as I play it to you. And think, oh, I know who that sounds like. And we didn't intend it to sound like that. We actually intended it to sound something like completely different. We were aiming for sort of a version of Massive Attack 07 type track, and we ended up sounding something that sounded much more like the Beautiful South, purely by accident. And it's just the way it goes, right? And you just never know. So if I just change the views over and sort of show you what I mean by that, and I'm going to mute some stuff off. So let's just mute out the vocals, and then I'm going to sample out the guitar. So let's just solo that, and then I'm going to solo the just some of the other instruments there. So if I just sort of bring in some of that other stuff, so what I've got now is I've got this is the chorus. So as you can hear, you've got bass, you've got the nice piano, you've got that nice guitar playing in there. So if I just again just take those out and I'll put the drum on. See what I mean? It's got that really sort of cute. And if I play the beginning, you'll immediately hear what I mean by saying it sounds like the Beautiful South. It sounds like the Beautiful South. So if I just reset the track, why is that being difficult for me? My controller's not working for some reason. Always helpful. And I've got this oversized mouse here to help everyone sort of see where I am, and it's making it difficult. Right. So I mean, it's got a real sort of Beautiful South feel to it, and I think that's because unintentionally it's because of that bass line, that dum 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 dum. So it's that because of that bass line. Let's just change that so that I don't. So because of the bass line. So if I just sort of select that bass line out a minute, and you'll see what I mean. So you've got this. So you got that sort of fabulous bass sound. So again, it's sort of got that sort of that feel to it. If I go back again, why is this being difficult for me? See, computers. See, sometimes they just do not do what you want them to do. Or is that going like that? There we go. So you got that. So just the way the pianos were written and the verses were written. Again, we were trying to break the track up a little bit by not being so obvious. So now I'll just put in the vocal. So if I just bring those vocals in. So this is the start of the verse, and I'm not going to play all of this because I'm just going to play samples of this because it's such a beautiful song. Really looking forward to you guys hearing it. So start the verse.
The sun was slow, the sky was white. You walked ahead.
See what I mean? It's got that lovely sort of beautiful South type laid back feel to it. And then Wendy said to me, I've got this really good idea for how we would lead into the chorus, and it's to really extend out the last words of the last lines of the verse. And so you can see where my mouse is that you've got these two fabulous vocals here, and so these are harmonized vocals that are just two words.
Oh, because of you.
Fantastic. Oh, again, these are guides, by the way, so these haven't been worked on in any way yet. So, but you kind of get the idea. Then we go into the chorus. Here's the chorus.
One day, but it stays with me.
See, so that bump, bump, bump. So it just fitted really nicely with the way the lyrics worked. And then we go into the second set of words, that the two words at the end of the verse. And it goes,
Watch the colors grow.
That's beautiful. So we've got a verse and a chorus, and musicians as they write songs will often go, "We need a middle eight." And what is a middle eight? Well, a middle eight is kind of 8 bars. That's where the 8 comes from. It doesn't have to be 8 bars; it can be as long as you like. But it's just kind of a breakup of change it around a little bit. Maybe you're choosing different chords. You're looking at a different sort of change to the way the verses or the choruses are written. Just something different. Something just to break up the way the track feels, and then you go back typically into a chorus. Typically how it works, but there's no rules to songwriting, so it doesn't really matter. So we've got the end of the verse. The end of the second chorus, and now we're thinking, right, we now need to write a middle eight. And middle eights, as I say, tend to be different. And with this one, what we wanted was really wanted to use some very colourful and different chord sequencing. And that's where sort of you really sort of start to look deep into the way the chords hang together, where the melody line is, and then what chords would fit the melody, and how does that note, the particular melody note is singing, what chord could you go to with that, and you really start to then break up and use your musicality to sort of think about it. So if I sort of start the verse off, this is the chorus, right, into middle eight.
The road is long, but you're still here.
Different chord, here it comes.
Your voice still
Nice.
feels near. No.
So then we use another really sort of different chord.
That perfect day.
Now we're in a bit of a bind because where that ends is we're now in the wrong chord that would lead into the chorus, and that sort of, you could go straight into the chorus, but it will sound odd. You know, I said no rules, and people just accept songs for where they're written. You go, yeah, it's odd, don't care. I like things to be neat and tidy, so I like things to resolve, and so that the chorus is led into it. So it meant that I'm now going to come up with a sort of a quick break in the music to bring me right into the right chord that brings me into the chorus. So I've got this little instrumental break, and I'm thinking, well, I wonder if I could sort of do something like that. So looked at remembering that we actually had recorded Jensen in the studio a little while ago, and he just said a few words and that sort of thing. And as luck would have it, he said his name, and so I was quickly whizzed over to the store, grabbed the vocals I needed, and then wrote a little piece of music that just goes under it, that does two things. It brings me into the chorus correctly, and it gives him a chance to hear his voice. And so this is how it goes. So if I just start it to... So there you go. It's a lovely little cheeky bit of music there, but it brings me perfectly into the right chord for the chorus to start. So there you go. So this is called Just One Day. This will be, again, a high contender for the first single to be released. And again, if you've got a comment on which song you'd like to hear from a single point of view, these are all going to be on the album. So we've got, we're up to 8 now, as long as 2 work out correctly. We're up to 8, and we're planning on 12 songs that will be released. So yeah, we're up to 8 now. So we're pressing on. Thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. Really appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, I'm Nick, Crimson Medici. Cheers.